All right, folks, we're going to get started. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. I am Michelle Backus, and I am with Rutgers Cooperative Extension. And in the background here also is my coworker Amy Rowe, also with Rutgers Cooperative Extension. She's with Essex and Passaic County. I'm with Union and Middlesex County, and I'm going to be introducing our speakers tonight in just a second. If you would just bear with me for a few minutes while I go through some of our basic webinar stuff. First of all, Rutgers Cooperative Extension is the outreach arm of Rutgers University. Many of you know that if you've been with us before. It's a partnership between the counties that we serve and the university, and every county in the state has an extension office. We don't have one in Hudson County, but we do a lot of programs there also, and we extend the resources of the university out into the counties that we serve through education, science-based education. This webinar series we started up in the spring during quarantine because we wanted to help people, we wanted to teach people what they could do while they were at home to help protect the environment. Simple things that folks can do to help improve the environment, everything from outside landscape care to energy conservation that you'll be hearing about tonight. And a lot of the recordings from the spring are up on our Earth Day Everyday website. So this evening we're going to be using WebEx. And you should go ahead and ask any questions that you have in the chat box, which on my screen at least is on the bottom right-hand side. You may also see the Q&A there also. We prefer if you put your questions in the chat box, but if you put them in the Q&A, we will see them. But try to put whatever questions that you have in the chat box, and we will get to them. Everyone is muted on entry, and please stay muted. We also will be doing a poll. In fact, I need to make sure that I can bring the poll up. But we will be doing a poll about 10 minutes before the presentation is over. So look out for that. And then also just know that this recording will be available on our Earth Day at Home website. So this webinar series, it is free to the public, but we appreciate any donations that you're able to make, and I'll put our website in the chat box. These any amount would be appreciated, and they go to help support the Rutgers Environmental Steward Program, help with scholarships, internships, and supplies. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers tonight. We have with us this evening New Jersey's Clean Energy representatives from New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. Sandi Eisner is the Outreach Account Manager with New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, and she's going to be speaking to us about the what and the how and the why of a home energy efficiency assessment, also called an energy audit, and how you can save money and energy at home. And then Carrie Ann Lombardi is also with us. She is the Market Outreach Coordinator, also with the New Jersey's Clean Energy Program. And Carrie is going to be helping field questions in the chat box. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Sandi to get started. Actually, if you wouldn't mind just going to the next slide so I can get this other, our consent statement out of the way, because this is the university. By participating in this webinar series, Rutgers now considers you all research subjects, human subjects, and that doesn't mean we're going to come and poke and prod you, but it does mean that we need your consent to take part in this research project. And what that really means is that we're going to be sending you a follow-up survey, just one. We won't bug you with emails. Just to find out, what you thought of this seminar series, and then what practices you adopted after listening to them. Okay, so when you see the poll later, there's going to be a poll question about the consent statement. All right, and now, without further ado, I will turn it over to Sandi.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Rutgers and Michelle and Amy, for inviting me to come out, Carrie Ann and I, to come out and talk with you tonight about the energy audit. as Michelle said, I'm Sandi Eisner, and I'm on the outreach team at New Jersey's Clean Energy Program on the residential side. Now, at New Jersey's Clean Energy Program, we work on clean energy and energy efficiency opportunities for most every sector in the state. And tonight, we'll be speaking with you about New Jersey's clean energy programs, some highlights, and then we'll be taking a deep dive into home performance with Energy Star and really getting into all the details of why you might want to get a home assessment and actually what happens on that assessment. I'll also show you how easy it is to choose a contractor through our website. So just a little background on New Jersey Clean Energy Program, in case you're not familiar with us. The program's overseen by the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, and our goals are providing education on energy efficiency and clean energy, as well as inspiring homeowners and businesses to clean and efficient actions, and providing opportunities for everyone to save money and to participate in protecting the environment. Now, the program's purpose is to get us all to the governor's ambitious goal for our state, 100% clean energy by 2050. The program's funded by a small surcharge on our utility bills. It's called the Societal Benefits Fund, which we all pay into when we pay our utility bill. And we like to say that you might as well take advantage of New Jersey's clean energy programs because you are already paying for them. So we have many programs in place to meet the goal of 100% clean energy, which include education, energy conservation, energy efficiency, distributed energy resource, and of course, renewable energy. And I would just like to mention that while we won't be getting into renewable energy in this talk, I do find that folks often ask about solar when we talk about energy efficiency. And I'll just make one sweeping statement here, which I hope becomes obvious during my talk tonight. While solar is great by itself, it's even better when it's one piece of an energy efficient home paired with home performance, and together a better way to reach our clean energy goals. So our programs have been very productive. Last year, we processed over 131,000 applications for rebates, paid out over $136,000 in incentives, and that's like the equivalent of over 96,000 cars removed from the road. Good for our state, good for our planet. Now we have 5 main areas in our portfolio of programs, which are renewable energy, specialized energy efficiency, commercial and industrial, distributed energy resources, and residential, which is where we're going to be focusing today. So these are all of our residential programs here. And while I'm going to go into much more detail about home performance with Energy Star and the energy audit, I wanted to just touch on all the residential programs and make you aware of them. So the home performance program is a comprehensive program in which our BPI trained contractors use what we call whole house thinking to retrofit existing homes. And that includes the energy audit and very generous rebates and financing. And then Warm and Cool Advantage, that's our equipment rebate program, which provides rebates for energy efficient heating, cooling, and hot water equipment replacements. So if you put in a piece of equipment with a certain efficiency, you get a certain number of dollars for your rebate. And those range from $250 all the way up to $2,000. And then we have energy efficient product rebates, which most people are pretty familiar with. There are things like Energy Star, refrigerators, freezers, washers, dryers, window air conditioners, and dehumidifiers. And as well, we have a very popular appliance recycling program and lighting and shower head discounts. So there's also residential new construction. So if you're building from the ground up, there are incentives to build new, more efficient homes or 100% gut rehab existing homes. And that's to Energy Star or Zero Energy Ready Home standards. And then there's the Comfort Partners program, and that's a free income qualified program for homeowners and renters to get lighting upgrades and other equipment in the home. So no matter what you're looking for, there is a rebate for all sorts of homes, all sorts of sizes and types of homes, and lots of programs throughout the state. So, okay, Carrie Ann, she's going to ask you all a little trivia question, and we'd like to ask you if you wouldn't mind putting your answers into the chat box.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. So the question is, which of the following is an indication that you might benefit from a home assessment? A, daughter's room is always too hot or too cold. B, high electric bills. C, concern about your carbon footprint. D, moisture on windows. Or E, all of the above. Please go ahead, type your guess into the chat box. And Sandy, whenever you're ready, we got a lot of feedback here.
You let me know when people have stopped typing. All right.
We got a lot.
Okay,
I think we got a lot of good guesses here. So
okay.
The majority of the people guessed E, all of the above.
Okay. Well, you guys are really smart because it was sort of a leading question, I guess. But yes, it is all of the above. So you're way ahead of things here. Thank you so much, Carrie Ann. So let's get into the home performance and the home assessment. I want to first mention that the terms home assessment, energy audit, energy assessment, home energy assessment, they all refer to exactly the same thing. So they're interchangeable. And if you hear me mentioning any of those, we're talking about the exact same thing. So we're getting away from using the term audit, though, because it sounds like it has something to do with the IRS. So a home energy assessment is the first step to saving energy and money. It's the first part of the Home Performance with Energy Star program, which we're going to get into in more detail. And it helps you learn how you use energy and determine where it's being wasted, and then prioritize your efficiency upgrades. So making energy efficiency upgrades identified in this audit can save you 5 to 30% on your monthly energy bill. And those are big numbers. So that home energy assessment should be your first step before making energy saving home improvements, as well as before adding a renewable energy system to your home. And in fact, by the way, some states do require the assessment before a homeowner can even install solar panels. So how do you know if a home is a candidate for home performance? Here are some symptoms that will give you a clue. Warm and cold spots throughout the home, drafts, moisture on the windows. That may be that the home has leaky windows, but it does suggest excessive humidity that impacts the home's comfort. Ice damming on the roof in the winter, that's often an indication of missing attic insulation and air leakage to the attic. Excessive dust could mean leaky ducts in the attic, and the presence of mold suggests little or no ventilation. So you see, there are so many different reasons why a homeowner could benefit from that home performance assessment, in addition to wanting lower energy bills. And problems like these could mean that your home isn't working the way it should. Now, a contractor participating in the home performance program, the home performance doctor, can help to turn that around. So maybe you've seen or experienced some of these things at your own home. Excessive ice damming, which you see in the top left photo. Those icicles, they're kind of pretty, but they are dangerous if you're standing underneath them. They indicate problems inside of an attic as the temperature changes on the top of the roof and the ice thaws and refreezes. Condensation like this on the windows, or that house, that room over the attic, it's always hot or cold. And maybe you've seen that nasty mold in the bathroom or something of that sort. And these are all indicators of various problems. That last one is improper ventilation in the home. So let's take a closer look at how the energy assessment within our Home Performance with Energy Star program helps to deal with these problems. So what is home performance? Well, it's about existing homes and upgrading them to make them better. It addresses more than just the mechanical systems like the heating and cooling and hot water systems, but deals with comfort, air quality, health and safety, and energy usage problems. The program, as I mentioned earlier, uses specially trained contractors that have this BPI Building Analyst certification, and they're specially trained in building science. there's a lot of oversight in this program, and we make sure that all the contractors have their required licensing every year, and their work is also randomly inspected by our inspection team. So we mentioned that home performance uses whole house thinking, and the mechanical systems, the plumbing, the electrical, the structures, and the homeowner is one of those systems. They all perform best when they work together. So home performance, it means that the real problems in the home get identified and fixed. Think about it this way. The home performance contractor is like the doctor that understands the whole body, not just one little system or one part of it. And I did mention a lot of the benefits, but there are some that you may not have thought of. Removing dust and allergens, or reducing asthma and sinusitis, addressing climate change, and creating energy independence are two of my favorites. So there's so many benefits for homeowners to getting that assessment and getting the work done. So to participate in our program, you'll select a contractor from our website, and I'm going to get into more detail on how easy that is in just a few minutes. You'll schedule an assessment. Now, some contractors charge and some don't. They might be part of a program, a local municipality program, or you might be getting your assessment through your local utility. They may charge a small fee, or they may charge a larger fee. It is an open market, and New Jersey's Clean Energy Program doesn't tell the contractors what to charge. So they're going to identify health and safety issues as well as energy improvements. And then you'll receive a report which itemizes the contractor's recommendations and what level of rebate you're eligible for. Then you sign an agreement and you get the work done. So at the assessment, the contractor uses special diagnostic equipment to test combustion appliances, and those are things like your heating system, hot water, and your oven. And that testing also determines opportunities for upgrades. The technician goes through a thorough inspection inside and out with special attention to opportunities for air sealing and insulation upgrades. And then they'll do what's called a blower door test, and we'll get into a little bit more detail about that in just a moment, as well as what's called thermal imaging. So health and safety is really a top priority in this program. Your home performance contractor is going to inspect and test for unsafe conditions like carbon monoxide from those combustion appliances. Carbon monoxide is the silent killer, and it's very dangerous in the home. Bubble testing for gas leaks, as well as checking the venting from bath fans, which should be vented outside instead of into the attic, and clothes dryers. This one has a gaping hole in the vent, and the gases from combustion of natural gas aren't exiting through the vent. And when these are discovered, the repairs can be included as part of the home performance work scope and the total project cost. So these are some of the typical tools. What's a blower door test? Well, basically the blower door is a vinyl sheath with a fan and an attached computer, which the contractor attaches to the front door. And this tool allows the contractor to find out how leaky the home is and exactly where the leaks are coming from. And if used in combination with that infrared camera you see there, the contractor can actually show you where and how leaky the home is, and even find hidden leaks. And by showing you, it helps you to understand that scope of work that the contractor is going to suggest. The infrared camera measures changes in temperature, even in those places that you can't see behind the ceiling there. So that image on the right, for example, shows what air leaks in a poorly insulated attic or second floor, what poorly installed insulation might look like on a cold day. And the infrared photo reveals what's not visible with your eyes or a conventional camera. That purple on the ceiling is missing insulation, and that dark purple in the corner of the window there, that's air leakage. The really good home performance contractor is like a teacher, letting you know exactly what's going on all the way along the way during the assessment. And together with the home performance contractor and these tools, they're used as diagnostic tests, but also as tools to show you these problems. So home performance contractors know this house has a problem. And they know it has a problem just by looking at the roof. Can you see the difference between the roof on the left there and the roof on the right? Well, the snow has melted off on the left there. So let's look inside that attic and see what's going on. So the builder did some things wrong as well. It may be hard to tell exactly from this angle with all that stuff piled up in the attic, but the builder used very little insulation. There's plenty of storage, but underneath that storage, there's no insulation or very little. And more importantly, the attic was never air sealed. This means that the hot air in the house rises and escapes into the attic, and that happens 24 hours a day, all day long. And the builder, the HVAC contractor, wasn't the only one that did something wrong. The builder wasn't the only one, excuse me, but the HVAC contractor had a part in it as well. And he made a big mistake too. He put those ducts right there in the attic. So this causes problems all year round. In the winter, the heat of the house escapes into the ducts and is lost into the attic. And in the summer, the ducts are warmed by the attic. So your nice, cool air conditioner is warmed up by the time it gets to the bedrooms. Is it possible to put ducts in the attic? Of course, there are good ways to do that, but they have to be installed correctly in order to actually perform well. Well, this is a very busy slide. You'll see a whole house there in the cutaway, and you'll notice that there are many areas in the attic that can be leaking, and that's because most attic floors have so many unseen connections to the living spaces below. All attics have some of these, and some attics actually have all of these. So you've got the furnace flue or chimney, you have plumbing vents, there are open floor joists and soffits, wiring holes, and then you see the attic hatch there, and recessed lighting, for example. And while not pictured here, you also have those bath fans and exhaust vents. So with all that hot air rising up through those attic leaks, cold air is entering into the house to replace it. Air leakage can account for more than 20% of the annual heating costs of a typical home and cause those problems that we mentioned earlier, like the ice damming in a cold winter, for example. So in addition, leaks throughout the house can also bring in pollutants and pollen from the outside. So reducing the amount of air that leaks in and out of the home through air sealing and insulation is a cost-effective way to cut heating and cooling costs, improve durability, increase comfort, and create a healthier indoor environment. Now, for those of you who really want to visualize what happens at the home energy assessment, I do have a little video for you from the Department of Energy. When we tried this out a little earlier, it was a little choppy, so I'm going to apologize in advance, but let's see if we can get all the way through it without problems.
In any season, a leaky home costs money. How do you stop it? It starts with a comprehensive home energy checkup. That's a series of tests and inspections to find out where your house could be more efficient. The end goal is to save energy, save money, and make your house more comfortable. Installing energy-efficient lighting and appliances will help. So will creating a sealed barrier around your house, kind of like putting a blanket around the outside, minimizing the leaks. Upgrading your home to save energy can put anywhere from 5 to 30% of your energy bill back in your pocket. Okay, to get a thorough home energy checkup, you'll need some help from a professional. Look for a home energy technician called an auditor in your area. Now, in this cold weather evaluation, the auditor starts on the outside, looking for problems around walls, joints, and under the eaves. If there's not a tight fit, you're losing energy and money. Next, the technician might head up to your attic to check for leaks on the top of your home barrier. That trap door could be a culprit, letting cold air pass into the house. A big part of the checkup is determining how well the insulation insulates. Insulation should be correctly installed in between all areas of the house frame. That means it needs to be evenly applied and not just jammed into spaces. And of course, if the insulation has fallen down, it's not working. Your energy auditor will inspect the holes where electrical lines pass through. They're not sealed, they're leaking. Then it's down to the basement. Your furnace and water heater could be wasting energy. The auditor will check to see how energy efficient the furnace is. Furnaces generally lose efficiency as they get older. It could cost you more to keep yours running than to replace it with a new one. Maybe all you need is a new filter. Some people haven't changed their filter for months, even years. That gunk clogging the filter means your furnace has to work harder to heat your home. If the water heater is several years old, it may not be efficient. And if it isn't insulated, it's also losing energy. Now it's on to the ductwork. The technician will inspect connections to make sure they make a tight fit. They have to be sealed to keep the warm air going where it's supposed to go. The screwdriver can go in the hole. It means one thing for sure, money is going out. Now for the blower door test. The energy auditor will close all the windows and doors and anything else that lets outside air in. This special fan will depressurize the home. The idea is to suck air out of the house, allowing outside air to rush into the home through all those openings you didn't know about. Okay, so with the windows and doors closed and the fan running, leaks are easy to spot with an infrared camera. In winter, the auditor will scan the interior of the home looking for cold air rushing in. Here, the darker the color, the worse it is. These black spots mean one big air leak. It's an eye-opening experience. For this house, the recessed lighting fixtures are big problems. The auditor will also take a look at the kinds of light bulbs in those fixtures. If they're incandescents, they're using a lot of energy. Warm compact fluorescents are an energy-saving alternative. So, the home energy assessment reveals ways that energy escapes your home, costing you money. The good news is, you'll have a comprehensive home energy report showing which efficiency upgrades are right for you and where to stop those pesky leaks.
All right, great. Well, I'm just going to make sure that this is stopped. And for those of you who could hear this, I think it went pretty well. You could hear it okay, so you feel like you've been there.
It sounded good, Sandy. It sounded good.
Excellent. I did want to mention that it's a little dated. So they do mention compact fluorescents, and we've all pretty much moved on to LEDs, light emitting diodes. So you'll be able to buy those much less expensively and also using the program through many retailers. So we went a little too fast. Sorry about that. So let's talk about assessments. I know I've been talking about how important they are and how many problems they solve, but the assessments actually don't save energy. They don't save money, and they don't solve problems. You need to at least get the most important recommended work done to get the benefits. So what does a home performance contractor do to rectify some of the problems that he might find in your home? We call that the retrofit. And there are some examples that you'll see here. So let's see, air sealing with caulk and rigid foam. This is rigid foam board insulation, and that's to block holes that are in the attic floor that you can see. So we want to separate that conditioned space from the unconditioned space. Blowing in insulation, this happens to be, it looks like blown fiberglass, but another material is cellulose, which is simply treated, ground up newspaper, treated with fire and insect retardant. And there are all kinds of new environmentally friendly insulation materials available today. In fact, recycled denim is something that's expensive but gaining popularity. Power vented water heater. Now, this is much more efficient and safer than a naturally drafting water heater. It's safer because it's taking the combustion gas right out of the house through that white pipe that you see there. So it's safer and more efficient. And this is a photo of a technician painting the duct seams with mastic, which helps to eliminate leaks. So these are some of the things that you might find in your scope of work that are included in the home performance program. They're called eligible measures, and to be eligible for rebates up to $4,000. And we're going to get into more detail on the rebates in a sec. So we have attic air sealing and insulation. We have duct sealing and insulation. We have mechanical ventilation, and that has to do with air quality. HVAC equipment, heating, cooling equipment, water heaters, and then health and safety repairs. And health and safety repairs might be things that impact excessive moisture in your home that's causing mold. It might be fixing those gas leaks that we talked about when they tested with the bubble test. So there's a lot of different types of things. It might be removing unsafe insulation or radon in the home, things like that. So I just wanted to show you, for those visual folks, some of the areas in the attic where air sealing and insulation can really help. And that's what unsealed plumbing and wire penetrations look like in the attic. You'll notice the dirty insulation and the dust around the electrical fixtures, which indicates that air is blowing through, and with it dust. And one of the things you'll also notice is that the plumbers and the electricians, they often make bigger holes than necessary for ease. But you're left with these gaps, cracks, and leaks throughout your house. And in fact, if you added up all those leaks and holes and gaps in a typical home, it would be the equivalent of having a window open every day of the year. It's very wasteful and very costly. So in the retrofit, the technician uses caulk, spray foam, and expanding foam here to seal some of these areas. And then many homes have one or more uninsulated attic hatch. And looking at the attic hatch with the FLIR thermal imaging camera is really enlightening. The only thing between you and that hot attic is that half-inch piece of plywood. So as you can see from the FLIR camera, those yellow areas are showing the heat radiating down from the hatch in the summertime. And you're paying to cool that hot air. It's also very inefficient. So when you insulate and air seal the attic access, it helps to prevent that heat transfer between the attic and the conditioned home, and that improves the energy efficiency, which is reflected in lower heating and cooling costs, as well as better comfort on the second floor. And there's a lot of different methods to insulate and air seal that hatch. There are commercial products available. It can actually be built up with rigid foam and insulation and weather stripping of different types. Same thing with the unsealed attic fan. So many people still have these whole house fans. And in the wintertime, and even in the summertime, you've got that attic, that hot attic or that cold attic bringing that cold air through. So there is a weather stripped insulated cover that can help here as well. So I wanted to show you all how easy it is to find a BPI Gold Star contractor through our website. And you just have to go to njcleanenergy.com/HP, and you'll see that little Find a Contractor button there that's circled, and you just click on that button. It takes you to a little disclaimer page, basically that we don't endorse or recommend any one contractor. And you do need to use one of the trade allies or contractors that you find on our website to be eligible for the New Jersey Clean Energy Program incentives. Once you click agree, you're taken to a search page where you can put in your zip code and your radius. And if you have the name of a contractor, you can actually use put that in the advanced search and use the company's name. And then you click search, and you'll get a full list of contractors in that range from your zip code that you indicated in the last slide. Now, I have grayed out the names since we don't endorse any particular contractors. On this list, you can see how many jobs they've done with the program and if they've won any Energy Star awards. And just because they don't have many jobs, it may be that they're just new to our program, but they've been in HVAC or insulation for their whole business lives. So you want to do the same due diligence that you do when you hire any contractor. Call them up and ask questions, look at their reviews, look at their website. And then here on the website, when you click on the company name link, it takes you to more detailed information about the contractor. On to the rebates, which you've all been waiting for. So we're very fortunate in New Jersey because we probably have the best rebates and the best financing in the entire country. The way it works is that there are 3 different tiers here of rebates. Every single home performance project has insulation and air seal. And with that tier 2, you'll have air sealing and insulation and maybe a domestic hot water heater. So every single tier is based on the amount of energy saved to qualify for the rebate. So if you save 5 to under 20%, the rebate is up to $2,000, plus several bonus rebates, which you'll notice this UEZ, LMI, and AH bonus. And these are for doing any type of work with the program in that tier in an urban enterprise zone, if you're a low to moderate income household, or if you're in affordable housing. And then the tier 3-1, you have air sealing plus insulation, plus one other eligible measure. And that means it can be air conditioning or heating or a boiler, things like that. And energy savings is between 20 and just under 25%. And the incentive is up to $3,000 with those larger bonus incentives, up to $750. And then there's tier 3-2, which is the same types of measures, but with an energy savings of over 25%. And the incentive is actually $4,000 with even higher bonus incentives. Now, believe it or not, actually, most of the home performance jobs that go through our program are eligible for those higher rebates. It all depends on what condition your house is in at the start and what it needs and what measures you decide you'd like to have done at the time. So when the contractor does the assessment, they will give you a list, as we mentioned, or a report of what you can do in your home. And then you, the homeowner, can choose what work you actually want to have done. If you don't choose to do all of the work they've recommended to you, they'll rerun the software and they'll determine what energy savings is and what the incentives that you're eligible for. And along with these larger rebates and better, higher bonuses, we also have fantastic financing. We have 3 different loans, and I'd like to batch the $5,000 and $10,000 zero interest loans together. That is a true zero interest loan. There's no catch, there's no variable rate. It's a true 0% interest financing. So if you have a project you need a little bit more money, there's up to $15,000 at 0.99%, still a very low rate. Now the $10,000 for 7 years is only $119 a month. So for example, let's say you have a $10,000 loan and a $4,000 rebate, you could conceivably do a $14,000 project for zero out of pocket. Super generous rebates, great interest rates, and you're also saving money on your utility bills. There are also some additional opportunities with some of the utilities for on-bill repayment. I did want to give you some more in-depth information from 2 real-life homeowners that participated in our program. Diane from Hillsborough, she had been living in her 2,684 square foot home for 30 years. It was a 30-year-old home, and the equipment, the age of that equipment and drafts in the home were her main concerns. She wanted to lower her utility bills. And we installed air sealing, or her contractor, I should say, air sealing, insulation, an Energy Star gas water heater, a furnace plus central AC. And the project's total cost was about $16,000. She was eligible for $4,000 in rebates. So the cost was $12,000 after the rebates. She took out the $10,000 loan and she had $2,000 out of pocket. Now, 25% projected energy savings from this project. So every month, month over month, she's spending less money on all of her fuels. Now with our 0.99% loan, Diane could have completed her project with zero out-of-pocket expenses. So that's a really great project. And we have another home performance testimonial, and I'm going to bring in Carrie Ann's little film that we made. And I do once again apologize for the quality of the video. This is Carrie Ann and Peggy.
I'm here with Peggy from
Make that a little louder for you. There we go.
Manchester, New Jersey, who recently had an energy assessment done on her home. So Peggy, can you tell us what it is that made you decide to get an energy assessment?
Sure. I have been involved in energy efficiency for a long time, and I really believe that making a house as tight and efficient as possible is the best way to save energy. My house is a completely electric home, and it's very important to save energy that way.
So what kind of comfort or other issues were you trying to address with the
So by tightening up the house, it will reduce the drafts, and the ventilation is better. So those are the other things I was looking for, besides reducing my cost of my bill.
And what happened with the contractor? Can you tell us about the process?
Sure, the contractors were very professional. I was very impressed with them. They came and looked over the whole house. They went through the attic and the crawl space and did a blower door test. And really were very respectful of my time and didn't get in the way at all. And I hardly knew they were there.
And so did they provide you with the report?
I got a complete report, a very detailed report, pages and pages, and I went through it all and decided to have all of the work done.
Oh, you did all the work they recommended. That's great. So what kind of changes have you seen in your home's comfort?
Well, as I said, so it's much less drafty, so it takes care of all those problems, and the ventilation in the bathroom is just much better, less moisture in the bathroom, and my total energy bill was reduced by 50%.
50%, that's amazing.
Yeah. I was amazed. I didn't expect it to be that good because I started at a pretty low base point. I don't use that as much as a lot of other people do to start, but to have it drop by 50% was I was very happy about that. I also had a mini split installed, which is both for heating and cooling through the program as well.
That's fantastic. So Peggy, are there any other comments you could share with the listeners about New Jersey's clean energy program, or the contractors, or the program in general?
Yeah, just in general, I think it's an excellent program. Energy efficiency is the place to start. It makes so much sense because we need to reduce the amount of fossil fuels that we're using, and this is the way to do it. Make your house as energy efficient as possible.
Thank you so much, Peggy. Hi, everyone.
There we go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin.
Sorry about that, folks. So I did want to share some of our other programs real quickly, just in case home performance and the work isn't your cup of tea. So we have Warm and Cool Advantage, and these are replacing existing equipment with highly efficient heating, and with the Warm Advantage, it's heating and hot water equipment. The rebates range from $250 all the way up to $950, depending on the efficiency and the type of equipment. And there's also a $200 bonus rebate for low to moderate urban enterprise zones and affordable housing. And you should also check with your local utility for additional rebates there and financing. And then Cool Advantage, these are rebates for air conditioning equipment, and they range from $300 all the way up to $2,000, as well as those bonus rebates. And again, you can check with your local utility for rebates, additional rebates and financing. So these are two other programs that you can participate in as well. Then we have the appliance rebate program, and these are for Energy Star certified washers, dryers, refrigerators, air purifiers, dehumidifiers, and room air conditioners. And your local retailer also has discounts on Energy Star certified lighting in the new WaterSense shower heads. So these rebates range from $50 all the way up to $300. And then we have an appliance recycling program. This is a very popular program in which we pay you $50 to pick up an old, we also recycle the old refrigerator or freezer, and we recycle 95% of the parts. And at the same time, we'll also pick up a room AC or dehumidifier for additional $25. We're backed up a bit with these due to a pause for the last few months, but you can schedule your appointment on our website or call our 866-NJ SMART number for that appliance recycling. And last but not least, I'm not going to get into the residential new construction, but if you need any information and you're building a house, please reach out to me. Be happy to provide that for you. Comfort Partners, that's the free energy saving program for low-income homeowners at or below 250% of the federal poverty guidelines. This program, while free for qualified homeowners, includes an energy assessment, and based on what the contractor, the BPI certified contractor finds, it includes things like lighting upgrades and other equipment, as well as air sealing and insulation opportunities on a home-specific basis. So I did want to mention that there are additional rebates now to some of the utilities, including New Jersey Natural Gas, South Jersey Gas, and Elizabethtown Gas. And if your contractor is not familiar with them, you can apply for some of those rebates separately if you're doing the Warm and Cool Advantage program as opposed to home performance. So real quick, I wanted to share some additional ways to save, and we will be providing a link to this broadcast so you can view it again in the future. But there are assistance programs if you or anyone in your family or friends need it. The utility companies have information on all the state and federal programs that are offered. And then we have some quick energy saving tips. And you've probably seen many of these before, but we tend to forget about them from year to year. So setting the temperature lower when you're asleep or away is important, or higher in the summertime when you're away or asleep. Using ceiling fans to improve airflow and create breezes makes you more comfortable at a higher temperature, and not forgetting to turn the fans and the lights off when you're in the room. Using curtains or shades. I have this in my house. The front of my house faces southeast, very hot in the summertime, so I keep those cellular shades closed. But now in the winter, shades up helps to warm my house. So let that heat in on those winter days. And then there's some water tips. Heating water accounts for 12% of a family's utility bill. So you can lower the water heater temperature slightly, use cold water to do your wash, take shorter showers, install those low flow or water sense shower heads and faucets, finding and fixing leaks, and using dryer balls in the dryer reduces the dryer time. That's not really a water tip, but so for more information, we have a wonderful tool for everyone looking to learn more about energy efficiency. If I haven't given you enough information tonight, New Jersey's Clean Energy Learning Center has courses and featured content and more videos and resources to inform and educate. And you can visit us on our website, subscribe to our newsletter and listservs, as well as follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And I just wanted to say that there's so many programs for homes and businesses. So whatever way you want to save energy and save money and lower your carbon footprint, there's a great program for you. So I did want to ask if you have any questions. I'm sure there's some questions in the chat box. I'm going to let Carrie Ann, if you're able to mute yourself, ask those questions. I will do my best.
I would be happy to, Sandy. Let's see. The first question here is there a better time of year to do an audit? Winter, summer?
So the two best times of year to do the audit are when it's 15 to 20 degrees difference in temperature or more between the outside and the inside. And that's when the FLIR thermal imaging camera is more able to be seen. So you want to have a differential between inside and outside. Good question.
Okay. Next question. Are there rebates for window replacements?
So there are no state rebates for window replacements. People always think that windows make a really big difference in their energy usage, but it's really the areas around the windows that make more of a difference. And those are dealt with in the home energy assessment and the home performance with Energy Star program. There are rebates for windows that are not rebates. I'm sorry. There are federal tax credits for windows, and they end December 31st. So you might want to go take a look at the federal Energy Star website to see what the rebates are for the windows.
I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second. Folks, I have opened up the poll. If you want to go ahead and answer those poll questions, I'd appreciate it. And I'll let Carrie continue on with the questions.
Oh, so, yeah, I should go right ahead, Michelle? Continue, yes? Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Next question. Oh, good question. How much does the energy audit cost?
Okay, good question. Yes. So it can cost from zero to whatever the market will bear. We don't set the prices for the energy audit or the work. It's an open market, as I mentioned. So some contractors charge. Some contractors then take that amount off of the price of the work that you have done for them. Some of them might be part of a municipal program that charges something like $49 or $50. or you might get that assessment done through your utilities. Some of the utilities are doing them for $50 or so. So it really ranges. And as you learned today, the full assessment includes diagnostic testing. So the price doesn't determine the thoroughness. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that a cheaper contractor for the assessment will be less thorough or more thorough.
Okay. I had an energy audit done about 10 years ago. Can I get a new assessment and take advantage of any rebates?
Good question. So did you have any work done on your house? Did you do a retrofit? That person, if we can type in Kate, I don't know, was that KDS or?
No, it was from, I think her name is Isla.
Okay, so let's assume that Isla had no work done, that she just had the assessment done. You are eligible for the Home Performance with Energy Star program. I don't know how many, I honestly don't know how many years. I think it's 5 or 7 years that, you know, that if you had an assessment that there's some differential. I don't know exactly what it is, but if you didn't have the work done already and you haven't participated in the program, you can take advantage of Home Performance with Energy Star now, or you can always take advantage of the existing homes warm and cool advantage program, which is for the mechanical equipment. So let's say you switched out 10 years ago, you switched out your hot water heater. Maybe now you want to do your furnace and your air conditioning system. So, you know, that could be, depending on the efficiency of the equipment, $500 or as much as $750. So that's a sort of a yes and no question answer.
Thanks, Sandy. Next question is, how do I prep for an audit?
Well, good question. These folks have excellent questions.
Yes,
so you want your house to be, you want your attic to be accessible. So if the attic hatch is in your closet, make sure that like you've cleared out, you know, all the stuff at the bottom of your closet so that the contractor can put his ladder up into the hatch, because he's going to go up there and look around. Same thing in the basement. They're going to want to look all the way around the basement. So if your house is super crazy, like jam-packed with stuff, it's going to be a little difficult for the contractor to get around. So you want to just make sure that they have access to all aspects of the home, also your crawl spaces and your heating and air conditioning and hot water systems. So you don't want to have a ton of stuff in front of there so they can't get to it and do their diagnostic testing. Anything else?
A couple more questions.
Good.
Real quickly, there are a couple more. What is the link again for the Learning Center?
The link for the Learning Center is njcelc.com. It's actually also, I believe it's still on our homepage, njcleanenergy.com. I think it's still there. Carrie Ann, I see your videos going. Can you still speak?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Great. I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Another question. I never had an energy audit and I recently had my attic insulated. Am I eligible for any rebates? Can you share any information on lighting rebates? I can't find it on the site.
Okay. So there is, let's see. There is a link to lighting on our website. You'll go to in the appliance and lighting rebates section, and there's a link there. But basically, most major retailers have the Energy Star lighting that is discounted already discounted, and they'll have like our logo featured prominently. So if you go to like Home Depot or Lowe's, you'll see like a display with the discounted LED lighting. You also asked about the insulation and air sealing that you've already done. And the first thing about the program is you have to use contractors within our program, and there are just under 100 of them. in order to get the rebates for the program. So anything that you had done previously by, do it yourself or even a legitimate installation contractor is not eligible for the home performance program. But maybe the contractor didn't do the air sealing all over the house. There are opportunities in many other places than the attic, although the attic is the biggest offender. Sometimes it's the basement. And maybe they didn't, I don't know if they did a blower door test for you, but the blower door test is going to, as you saw in the video, show you the areas they may have missed. So there may be more work to be done. And I don't know how long ago you said you had that work done, but they may not have brought your attic up to today's standards for insulation. And, they may not have used the maximum amount. So you may still have more opportunity there.
Sandy, she said she had it 4 months ago. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, so, a lot of people go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, and they just buy a bunch of insulation and put it in, and they may even do a YouTube video and this old house or something like that, and do it right. Without the air sealing, the insulation is basically useless. So if they didn't do air sealing as well as insulation, you can still have the assessment done, and you have a lot more opportunity there.
One more question there's two more in the chat box. One, I'm not sure you have the answer at your fingertips. It's about the Diane testimonial. She's asking, how much money did it take her to save? How much money did she save on her monthly utility bills? And how long did it take her to recover the project's $10K cost through her monthly utility bill?
So, I can't answer specifically to Diane because it was a few years ago, but what I can tell you is that she got the $4,000. So the estimated energy savings, which is done by using software that the contractor uses, was over 25%. So typically, when we're up that high, you're saving anywhere, maybe she's saving $500 to $750 a year or more. I mean, I don't know what kind of work she did, but she did air sealing, insulation, hot water heater. She did a lot of work. So, you're looking for return on investment, and the return on investment for an entire home performance project, I had a slide for that. I use it this time. It's between 5 and 30%, depending on where her house was when she started. So, for example, the lady that we interviewed, Peggy, she had electric resistance heating, very inefficient, very expensive. And when she switched out to the cold climate heat pump mini splits, which has basically the ability to zone every area, she said she's saving 50% on her energy bills. So it was substantial. So it really depends what type of systems you have in the house to start and what condition the house is in to start as well.
Thank you, Sandy. And we did get one last question. Can you make a home too tight?
Aha. And that's one that we're asked almost every time. As a matter of fact, we have it as a canned question because I always like to answer that for people. So it's difficult to retrofit an older home to be too tight, but that's why the contractor does a blower door test at the front end and the back end. So when you're done with the assessment, we have verifiability of how much tighter the house has become. So it's really important part of our program. So the contractor is testing right before and after, and if it's too tight, indoor air pollutants like radon and carbon monoxide and what they call VOCs, volatile organic compounds, can be trapped in your home. Very rare to be able to get that tight, but you're hearing a lot about indoor air quality now, and that's really important, and it might require additional mechanical ventilation. It could just be, there's a whole host of ways to impact the air quality, from the very simple, like timed fans in the bathroom, to the more complex, like whole home ventilation and filtration systems. And this is a health and safety issue, so it comes under the umbrella of the home performance program, and $2,000 of that work is included in the program. So yes, theoretically you can, but the way we're trying to build homes now is to make them that tight and then use mechanical ventilation so that pollutants, bacteria and viruses and other things from the outside don't come in. So that's where we're going in the future with home building. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Those were the questions we got in the chat box.
Awesome questions. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for those great questions.
Folks, I'm just going to remind you, you have about 3 minutes left if you haven't already gotten started on the poll, and a couple of you have not gotten started on the poll. So go ahead and do that, or if you haven't finished, go ahead and finish up there. Sandy, that was wonderful. I learned so much, and I've had a home energy assessment on my home. So it was really good to be updated on the program. That was 10 years ago, so it's exciting to see how it's come along.
Great. Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay. Well, Carrie, I don't know if you had anything else. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I'll close things up.
Nothing else but just to thank you so much again for the opportunity to share this information with all your listeners at Rutgers. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem.
Yes.
We're thrilled that you guys are part of this program. This information is just so incredibly important. There's a lot of old homes out there, and it's just so exciting getting an energy audit. I kind of feel like it's it's the most fun like your house will ever have. I'm supposed to put that blower on the door. It's an exciting thing to have happen, and then to have a professional come in and just show you where you're losing all this money and energies. It's a very cool thing.
That's right. And we're all very concerned about, what's happening to our planet. And by reducing your consumption of fossil fuels, by making your home use less energy, you're doing your part, and you're doing a big part. It's more than just some LED bulbs and, using less, less hot water. You're taking a big part. So that's, we want to definitely encourage that.
Yes, definitely. Okay, folks, so thank you for being with us on a Tuesday evening. I hope not too many people were confused by that. We are usually on Monday evening, and next week we will return to our Monday evening schedule. And we have a great program. We have 10 ways to adapt to coastal flooding, and we'll have Vanessa Dornish, hopefully I'm saying that right, who's with the Jacques Cousteau National Estuarian Research Reserve. And she's going to be teaching us about their initiatives and 10 steps residents can take to prepare their homes and help increase their community's resilience to flooding and climate change. So I hope you will join us for that. And please tell your friends and family about this program. I did go ahead and put in the chat box, I did put in the link if you would like to provide a donation. That would be absolutely wonderful. And I think that is it. The poll, looks like the poll is closing up, so hopefully folks were able to do that. Also wanted to thank Amy for being with us on the back end to help with some of the technical issues, and thank you, Carrie, for dealing with that.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much. It's been my pleasure.
Great.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, everybody. Let's stop the recording here.